Hello, my name is Faith from ST Special Kids Super TV. Today we're going to learn about British Columbia. This is a map of Canada. Where is British Columbia located? You're right. British Columbia is located in this area. British Columbia is the westernmost province in Canada. It is located between the Pacific Ocean and the Rocky Mountains. It is Canada's third most populous province. The first British settlement in the area was Fort Victoria, established in 1843, which gave rise to the city of Victoria, which was at first the capital of the separate colony of Vancouver Island. In 1866, Vancouver Island became part of the colony of British Columbia, and Victoria became the United Colony's capital. In 1871, British Columbia became the sixth province of Canada. British Columbia has 52 cities. Its largest and smallest cities are Vancouver and Greenwood, with populations of 631,486 and 665 respectively. The largest city by land area is Abbotsford, which spans 375.55 kilometers square, while the smallest is Duncan at 2.07 kilometers square. The province's name was chosen by Queen Victoria. When the colony of British Columbia became a British colony in 1858, the Columbia in the name British Columbia is derived from the name of the Columbia Rediviva, an American ship which lent its name to the Columbia River and later the wider region. The area now known as British Columbia is home to First Nations groups that have a deep history with a significant number of indigenous languages. There are more than 200 First Nations in British Columbia. The nomadic population lived in non-permanent structures, finding nuts, berries, and edible roots, while hunting and trapping larger and small animals for food and furs. To the northwest of the province are the peoples of the Nadine languages, which include the Athabascan-speaking peoples and the Tlingit, who lived on the islands of southern Alaska and northern British Columbia. The contact with Europeans brought a series of devastating epidemics of diseases. European settlement did not go well for the remaining native population of British Columbia. Colonial officials assumed colonists could make better use of the land than the First Nations people, and thus the land territory be owned by the colonists. To ensure colonists would be able to settle properly and make use of the land, First Nations were forcibly relocated onto reserves which were often too small to support their way of life. By the 1930s, British Columbia had over 1,500 reserves. British Columbia is bordered to the west by the Pacific Ocean and the American state of Alaska, to the north by Yukon Territory and the Northwest Territories, to the east by the province of Alberta, and to the south by the American states of Washington, Idaho, and Montana. British Columbia is the only province in Canada that borders the Pacific Ocean. British Columbia's capital is Victoria. It is located at the southeastern tip of Vancouver Island. Only a narrow strip of Vancouver Island from Campbell River to Victoria is mostly populated. Much of the western part of Vancouver Island and the rest of the coast is covered by temperate rainforest. The province's most populous city is Vancouver. Victoria is the 15th largest metropolitan region in Canada, named for Queen Victoria, who ruled during the creation of the original colonies. The largest city is Vancouver, the third largest metropolitan area in Canada, the largest in Western Canada, and the second largest in the Pacific Northwest. The coast mountains and the inside passages, many inlets provide some of British Columbia's renowned and spectacular scene. "75% of the province is mountainous, more than 1,000 meters above sea level. 60% is forested." The province's mainland away from the coastal regions is moderated by the Pacific Ocean. The Okanagan area, extending from Vernon to Osoyoos at the United States border, is one of several wine and cider producing regions in Canada. Other wine regions in British Columbia include the Cowichan Valley on Vancouver Island and the Fraser Valley. The southern interior cities of Kamloops and Penticton have some of the warmest and longest summer climates in Canada. The northern, most mountainous, 2/3 of the province is largely unpopulated and undeveloped except for the area east of the Rockies, where the Peace River country contains BC's portion of the Canadian prairies. Centered at the city of Dawson Creek, British Columbia is considered part of the Pacific Northwest and the Cascadia bioregion, along with the American states of Alaska, Idaho, Montana, Oregon, and Washington. The flag of British Columbia is based upon the shield of the provincial arms of British Columbia. At the top of the flag is a rendition of the Royal Union flag. defaced in the center by a crown and with a setting sun below, representing the location of the province of British Columbia at the western end of Canada. The 4 wavy white and 3 wavy blue lines symbolize the province's location between the Pacific Ocean and the Rocky Mountains. The setting sun represents the fact that British Columbia is Canada's westernmost province. The Union flag on top reflects the province's British heritage, while the crown in the center represents British Columbia becoming a crown colony and achieving responsible government. The flag of British Columbia is similar to the flag of the British Indian Ocean Territory. It also bears similarities to the arms of Suffolk County Council, the local authority of the County of Suffolk in the United Kingdom. The official flower of British Columbia. British Columbia's provincial flower isn't really a flower. It's a tree. The Pacific dogwood. The Pacific dogwood only grows in southwest corner of BC, making Victoria and Vancouver Island one of its remaining homes. The dogwood was protected under a 1931 Provincial Act, but that ended when the provincial government repealed the law in April 2002. It's very attractive, and a tree in full bloom is absolutely spectacular. The official gemstone of British Columbia. The official gemstone of British Columbia is jade. The bright green gemstone found in British Columbia has long been coveted around the world, but recent demand from China has cast a new light on jade. The 2008 Beijing Olympics brought a greater interest in the gemstone when it was used in the medal designs. There are 2 types of jade, nephrite and jadeite, but nephrite is the only type found in Canada. The gem is primarily mined in northern BC, but some rocks have been located in southern stretches of the Fraser River. The official fish of British Columbia. The official fish of British Columbia is the Pacific salmon. The newest addition to the provincial symbols, the Pacific salmon has been a staple on the West Coast for hundreds of years. The Pacific salmon was officially adopted as a symbol in April 2013 after a push by the Pacific Salmon Foundation. Founded in 1987, the foundation works to protect and rebuild the wild Pacific salmon stocks along the BC coastline. The designation extends to the Sakai, Chinook, Coho, and chum salmon, as well as the steelhead trout and cutthroat trout. The trout are part of the salmon family and were included to ensure all BC salmon were represented in the symbol. The biggest population of salmon in the capital region can be found in the Gold Stream River. About 40,000 chum salmon traveled through the river each year. The official bird of British Columbia. The official bird is Stuller's jay. The jay was the only symbol to be adopted after a public vote. It beat out other candidates to snag the title of BC's bird in 1987. After a province-wide mail-in vote held by the Ministry of Environment and Parks. They really have attitude. They're bright and noisy birds. Named after George Steller, a German naturalist, the bird can be found throughout British Columbia and usually flocks to forests with nearby residential areas. While they migrate for summer to places with higher elevation, the jays are found throughout Victoria and the Capital Region during the winter. The official tree of British Columbia. The official tree is the western red cedar. The cedar primarily grows along the west coast of British Columbia and can be found throughout Vancouver Island. The tree is key to many First Nations bands across Vancouver Island for its many uses in their culture. The cedar is one of the easiest trees to carve, with soft bark that can be woven. The tree was chosen as BC's official tree in 1988 to celebrate the 75th anniversary of BC Forest Services. While trees such as the Pacific dogwood are under attack from diseases, the cedar is threatened by urban development and climate change. The official mammal of British Columbia. The official mammal is the spirit bear. For years, the spirit bear was once thought to be a completely different species of bear. Named after Francis Kermode, a curator at the Royal British Columbia Museum in the early 20th century. The first spirit bear to be held in captivity was in a small cage in Beacon Hill Park from 1924 to 1948. In the Great Bear Rainforest, which is on BC's central and north coasts, and contains 1/4 of the world's remaining intact temperate rainforests. The black bears are collectively referred to as Kermode bears. About 1 in 10 of the bears have a distinctive white coat and are known as white Kermodes or spirit bears. The official tartan of British Columbia. The tartan's colors incorporate elements from other BC symbols. White for the Pacific dogwood, green for the forests, blue for the Pacific Ocean, red for the maple leaf, and gold to symbolize the sun and the crown in the provincial flag. Thank you for learning with us. Don't forget to hit the red subscribe and the like button.